Last month saw the almost simultaneous release of the Ratchet Clank movie and its PlayStation 4 counterpart. It marked the duo's first appearance on PS4 and their first expedition onto the silver screen. But by all accounts, both were a success for Sony, although the game performed slightly better with critics, but we always knew that it was going to do well, didn't we? Here are 6 reasons why it is one of the best game-to-movie crossovers of all time. Number 1. It was already like an animated movie. People have been saying for years how much the cutscenes in the Ratchet & Clank games resemble animated features. The colourful characters, the humour and the setting seem like something plucked from the mind of Brad Bird himself. And who doesn't love the central conceit of a plucky duo of the underdogs versus a nefarious mastermind? The fact that said duo were already as kid-friendly as can be just meant pitching the idea of a movie adaptation must have been child's play. 2. It was ripe for a re-up. Ratchet & Clank have been around since 2002, and in that time Insomniac's courageous Lombax and noble little Tin Can have starred in a grand total of 11 games, not including recent remasters, and that makes them the most prolific video game partnership outside of Mario and Luigi. Sony were absolutely right to go back to the beginning for their first foray into PlayStation 4. Just look at the review scores for proof. And it also meant that it was a great time to introduce them to a younger generation who didn't grow up with the original game. 3. The humour is perfectly pitched. While the movie didn't score quite as well as the game did with critics, it still had its fair share of success, which will only continue when it comes to the DVD and Blu-ray releases later this year. Although the overall story had its detractors, one thing that many agreed on was that the humour carries much of it through the rough patches. The trademark disingenuous comedy and slapstick work just as well on the big screen as they do on consoles, and that's almost all you need to sell a movie like this, or indeed a game like this, to its target audience. 4. Its fan base is already established, and further to that, it's not likely to be as judgmental as, say, Assassin's Creed fans. And we already know that Michael Fassbender is going to have his work cut out there. Because Ratchet & Clank has always been aimed at a younger demographic, no one expected or wanted a sweeping space opera to rival Star Wars. We just wanted something to entertain us and our children and not mess up everything we loved about the source material, and that's pretty much what we got. 5. The series isn't particularly story driven. This year's Ratchet & Clank is without a doubt one of the most enjoyable action platformers available on this generation of consoles, and it achieves that more through the confident application of its gameplay mechanics than reliance on the story. That's not to say that the story isn't great, it just means that there was more room for the movie script to just breathe, and it wasn't hamstrung by fan expectation or a rigidly built set of rules. 6. It's fun. The biggest issue that has faced crossovers in the past, besides finding the right actors to play the characters of course, is that most games selected for movie adaptations are way too serious in their tone. And let's all forget Bob Hoskins' Super Mario Brothers, okay? Ratchet & Clank is already built on the foundation of intergalactic hijinks, colourful characters, bizarre inventions and exciting daring do. They're already adventurers, the base is there to build upon, and there's no need to panic about selecting the right actors for the parts. Ratchet & Clank on PS4 is a wonderful slice of family fun, and the movie was always going to be the same.
Hey, what are you doing?
I'm listening to this cool little indie band that I discovered. Oh! Should have backed the GodisaGeek Patreon.